No,
Well, I'm waiting on, now we are.
now we are.
Thank you.
Otherwise, it's going to shut off. I have no battery.
You good now, Ben?
I think so, yeah, go ahead.
Good morning. We'll go ahead and call to order the April 17th, 2025 meeting of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. We'll start with the roll call here. Mr. Bishop? Here. Mr. Dale?
Present.
Mr. Miller, I'm here. Mr. Pabilla is absent today. Ms. Wagley?
Yes.
And Mr. Lowe is absent as well. Okay, moving forward with the agenda. The only, I guess, takeaway from it would be, Jeff, you said we don't have any property purchase applications?
We do not. I just leave it on there as a bookmark in case we get some. Some of them are pretty simple, don't take a lot of.
That's-
Get ready. Others, a little more complicated.
That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just motion that we approve this as is, but strike that off there just for.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
We received the annual report. Is that, when, if we have questions about that, when might we ask? Maybe under other business or under report from the city, maybe at the end of your report?
Annual report.
Yeah, I didn't bring it with me.
It was just sent out, yeah.
We put it in the folder on the.
We could add it to
Be
the,
prepared to answer any questions about that annual report that? Yeah, he can, I mean, he could show up next month.
you guys want me to add it, want to add it for next month?
That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll do that. We'll add it for the agenda for next month. So yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented, but with the subtraction of property purchase applications.
So moved.
Okay?
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take roll. Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Dale?
Yes.
Mr. Miller, yes. And Ms. Wagley?
Yes.
Okay. Moving forward with the approval of the previous meeting memoranda. You all should have a copy of that in your packets.
I had a number of notes, as I typically do, but there are three particular notes that I'd appreciate consideration for that I think are important to have in here. Under real estate land grant, second page, first full bullet. This is on properties at 719, 819, and 927 West Powers. We did note that there are a number of partners involved. There's the City of Muncie, Muncie Land Bank. Is it called Intend Indiana, Jeff? I believe it's Intend Indiana.
Intend Indiana's
Yep.
doing their Williams Management Group. I mean, our
Yep.
grant was just
Understand. And then also WS Properties. Those were noted, and I think that including those names in this would be informative. The second thing is the third bullet down on that page, the property purchase application for Women Support Girls, Women Support Each Other. Albany Kelly is the executive director. Her name's not listed here, but she was the one who presented. We typically, and anywhere else in these minutes, we will state who was presenting, like Vicki Veach or Nate Howard. I would suggest that we add Albany Kelly, executive director. And then lastly, under the land bank, one of the last couple items, Shereen Wagley had mentioned a couple of things, and I thought they were pretty important. One was that, and I'm just paraphrasing my own brain here, if 11 properties were acted on before receiving the Ready Grant approval, that could put things in jeopardy. And I thought that was a really good thing to note, and I think that should be noted in here because it was highly informative. She also asked if if the draft agreement is going to rename the organization to the Delaware County Land Bank as opposed to keeping its name. And there was some question back and forth, and I think there was some resolution to that actually after the meeting. So I think those two items are of note, and I would just move that we include those items that I've mentioned, and with that, approve the minutes as presented otherwise.
Okay, that's a motion on the floor. Ms. Wagley, do you agree with his comments that they reflect your statement accurately, I'm assuming?
They do. I don't know that they were actionable, so,
Okay.
I agree with what he said, yes.
Okay. Well, there's a motion on the floor. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. No further discussion. We will take roll. Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Dale?
Yes.
Mr. Miller, yes. Ms. Wagley?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the claims with Mr. Wright. You all should have a copy of that as well in your
Good
packets
morning.
today.
Yeah, I sent out a copy of that yesterday, and Just really wanted to open it up to any questions you might have. I did want to make note that there was one claim for $170,000, which was the large claim on there. That was a contract, construction work performed at Storer Estates, paid to the Muncie Sanitary District. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. I know I asked you on that one, and then I asked you about upstairs the two from 2024. This is on, I mean, it says page 101, but it's fine. Under the Rundell Erstenberger Associates, the two claims for the downtown Muncie Gateway Park.
Yes.
So we have two in there from 2025, and then we have one from November of 24 and January 15th of 2024 for $4,000 and $79.80 respectively. And I'm sorry, I just don't remember what you told me. So you said.
Yeah,
those claims-
two of them were for master plan and conceptual design, and then two of them were for the construction administration.
Yeah, and that's fine. But the reason, I was just curious, did we just not get the invoices until late? Is that
Yeah,
why we paid them now?
that's what we've got to put on, and it's for the Gateway project out front.
Yeah, the point, right, essentially is what we've been referring to it as. Okay. Great, that's all I had. Any other questions on the claims today? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims as submitted.
I'd second that.
Okay. No further discussion. Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Dale?
Yes?
Mr. Miller, yes, and Ms. Wagley?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
You noted
Thank
the
you.
$170,000 claim. What was that for?
That was for,
Go ahead, Jeff, your report from the city.
All
Okay.
right, got the financial position for you. I've been told that you guys can all read, so I won't read it to you. I will give it to you, please. You'll take a look at it. You copy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do it. All right, Andrew, take one of those.
Oh, got it. I got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So by way of updates on the things we've been working on, let me- lots of things happening. Trying to bring some things to closure here. Okay. Downtown hotel development, we're continuing to take a look at a place to do that. We have shown a couple of sites to a couple of developers, but, and I may have mentioned this last time, but what we're finding is that a couple of the properties have been, the demolition cost to construct these properties into, and it's, obviously it's plumbing and HVAC that you have to now go into multiple places instead of central places, has made it really difficult. And so I think where we are is we're probably back to trying to find a ground-up construction site for a property, because nobody wants to do anything with the demo. And so we've been looking, or we have to find a property that can be demoed and start over again. So we are having some conversations, trying to set up another meeting here, hopefully this next week, with some property owners here to see if we can find enough property in the right place, in the right configuration, that we can maybe do something. And that may mean moving some things, and it's always a bit of a game of Tetris trying to figure this out. The High Street Square project, you just talked about the point. It's under construction, or whatever it's officially called, but it's under construction. The delay on some of that invoices, we get the designs, we put out for bid, the bids come in. The bids come in higher than we have allocated, so we have to then turn around and, kind of pair things to fit the resources we have for the construction. And then we get into the end of the construction season. So, but that's coming along, and hopefully they'll make quick progress as the weather improves. The other High Street Square project, or what I've been referring to as High Street Square, is the other part of the property. We're nearing the final stages of preparing an economic development agreement. Ben and I are probably going to exchange some some ideas about how to get that economic development agreement in place. And we need some additional information from the developer. They've given us a bit of a punch list to work through. We need to work on the completion of an environmental assessment for them. And once these are in place, we should be able to get an agreement in place, and hopefully we'll see something happening there fairly soon. Prospectively, we're looking at 54 market rate apartments, about 10,000-ish, 10,500 square feet of retail, and then restaurant. And then they'll utilize the parking lot that we acquired. Affordable housing initiatives, we're exploring some new projects, a new project to provide both senior and approximately 20 to 25 lease-to-own affordable homes. These are tax credit homes, so we're looking at, and we've had some time trying to identify possible infill lots, and we really need to use tax deed properties because we get points for using tax deed properties. So we're looking at that, and like I said, I think the developer wants to build something more vertical. So we've talked about it. If I can find him a place to do vertical, I need him to do, so we've kind of, I guess, negotiated a little bit. If he can do a taller one, he'll do the infill for us. So we've got, and we've identified a couple of properties, but right now it's a bit of a jump ball where it's going to be and who's going to, because there are multiple people involved, who's going to end up with the ideal property to do that. We are looking at, let's see if I've got that someplace else, maybe not, okay. So we're looking at I proposed a possible proposal for the city, or for the county to consider, to put us in line to be able to select and get some tax deed properties. We just need to make sure we continue to have some inventory, and then as we've figured out how many properties we have that are not from tax deed, we may be able to use those then to look at whether they fit better at the land bank. But we need to try to maintain an inventory so we can attract these kind of projects, because we have to have a match, and those are the things that get us a match and the points.
Jeff, I have a question on that.
Mhm.
The properties that, like, do they need to be new properties that to count for that? The MRC should already have a number of properties that were acquired through tax deed.
We do.
Okay, so you're using those ones to?
This project, I'm
Okay.
talking about future projects. There'll be other projects as well, hopefully. We, the last housing study I saw, we have, I think we've taken some of the Kilgore property has picked up about 120, but I think the last one I saw, and we looked at it upstairs, I think the last market study I saw said we had a 2,405 unit shortfall of affordable housing in Muncie. So we've got still quite a bit of work to do in the housing area.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that the MRC already owns like 100 or so lots that we need to offboard still. I guess I'm curious about like a plan where the MRC would be acquiring new property. And we still have like a bunch of old property that we've been sitting on for almost a decade.
Well, we're not going to acquire them just for the sake of acquiring them. We'll acquire them when we need them and when they're available. But I mean, here's the other thing I've learned in talking to the scattered site folks. It's great because we have properties everywhere. They'd rather not have crews everywhere. So if we have properties, that we might have, I don't want to use the word concentration, but we might have several in one neighborhood and several in another neighborhood where they're not spreading out their resources all over the place. There's some economies there. But yeah, we would request properties if we need them, and we would request properties that meet our needs. It would be strategic. It wouldn't be, we're just going to take all the properties because we don't need them. And
Sure.
I don't know when we'll need them, But the time to start figuring out how to get them is not when we need them, it's now, and then we'll get them when we need them,
Okay.
in the places that we need them.
And I think it's also in light of our working relationship with the land bank, the land bank's working relationship with the county as well. I mean, there'll be some moments there where properties go to them, not us, if it's deemed necessary. So, yeah, I think the word strategic's important.
And Zane, you're asking, I don't know that you guys are talking the same thing here. Because you're asking about the current properties that we already have, why aren't we using those, correct? Instead
are.
of getting new ones.
We are.
But don't we have a lot of properties that were not tax deed, and that's what we
Correct.
need, are tax deed
Right.
properties, not
Yeah.
properties that we've acquired from other avenues, right?
Correct, right.
Okay.
But for the project we're talking about now, we have tax deed properties that we can offer them.
Sure.
But once we do that, I want to have the ability to make sure we have an inventory that's usable for us going forward.
Yeah.
I don't want to get them now for this project. I want to have something in place for when I need them. There's a process and an agreement in place to be able to get those.
Okay, yeah, and I think using the land bank would be wise on our part.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The thing is, with all due respect to the land bank, that, if we get one of the developers to come in, like we did before with the other project, they built 61 homes in 18 months. It moves pretty fast. And so if you've got a 2,400 unit shortage, yes, we start to pare that down. We start to help people find better housing more quickly if we can do it in bigger volume. And some of these developers can do it in a much bigger pace than the land bank can. That's not a criticism of the land bank. It's just different. It's just a different, there are multiple avenues to get the problems resolved.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about it more when
Yeah.
it gets closer.
Yeah, I would like to talk about it further in a more concentrated way, because what we're really saying is that for expedience sake and and that's understandable to an extent, for expedience sake and what the developers want to do, but is that subordinate to this scattered site approach, which could make a huge impact because we've got missing teeth all over town of poor property. And that would be an interesting debate and a very providential debate, I think, to have, or not a discussion to have, about the value of that.
Yeah.
Whether it's wholly that or the other, or just an overall housing strategy.
Well, as I
Because,
described, this is both. This is a concentrated area on infrastructure that's already in place and scattered sites. So you're looking at whatever the vertical building would be, and I don't know how many that would be, but if, let's say it's 25, and we do another 25 there in scattered sites, that's 50, and that's some of both. And that's what we've talked about. We have to keep in mind, unless we build them, builders will build what makes sense for them from their business perspective as well. So if we say we just want to do scatter sites, and I have developers come in and say, we don't want to do scatter sites because it's inefficient and it doesn't work for us, they're not building them. So, so it's not, again, it's not one of those we sit in the room with the builders and start picking who we want. It's the other way around. We're saying, build here. How can we get you to build here? And that's, and it doesn't make any difference whether it's affordable housing, whether it's market rate housing. It is competitive.
I understand thoroughly, and I've been in that business for a long time. What I'm saying is I would like as a group to understand going in, instead of being reactive to those plans, being proactive and being a part of that, understanding what that looks like. That's all I'm saying.
On the village development project, we've been working with the city and the developer and Ball State University to take a look at how we can help move those projects along. There are, I can't remember how many phases there are now. I want to say 5 phases. So we've been talking to them about and helping work through some math on some of that. So it's slowed a bit. I expect it to pick up again soon. We just probably just need a little more enthusiasm from some of our partners to move this along. But hopefully we'll have a resolution and something worked out. We are also looking at another project with Ball State University to try to take the next step in building a gateway, if you will, or an entryway or a pathway from the university to downtown Muncie. And that would be a, you know, a partnership with them. And we had a meeting last week, where I think we'll meet again sometime next week or the week after to try to figure out what should get done, what could get done, how it gets done, and then, of course, how it gets paid for. We've been looking at trying to figure out and putting together some strategies about strategic capital stacking. More on that to come, but have been having some conversations with some other partners to figure out how we can help as a partnership mitigate some of the risk, as we talked about earlier with some of the developers, to be able to pick here instead of someplace else. So we're trying to figure out if we can get some multiple funding streams to overlap to help get that done, so everybody's money goes a little further and we can get more things done with it. Been looking, continue to look at the communications tower project. We've identified still a couple sites. We've got, I'd say probably maybe another month or two of working through that. Ben's helping with some of the legal aspects of it, so we're going to continue to work on that. But there is a strong desire to have better utility of our wireless communications in Muncie, so we're working toward that. The facade grant committee, which I have been calling the Muncie Redevelopment Grant. I don't know if that's, I don't think the mayor's necessarily calling that, so we'll settle on something, but that committee has been seated and sworn in. They will meet for the first time, I believe, on April 24th, and at that point, they will likely pick someone to kind of chair that committee, and then they'll begin to hammer out kind of the details of administering the program. So, and we've provided them some stuff of kind of an overview. I've gotten some other things from some other programs that have been in place that I'm going to share with them too, so they'll have maybe some references that they may want to take a look at as well.
Hey, Jeff, can you remind me, does that committee meet on a regular basis, or is it just ad hoc as you get applications in for the
It
grant?
will meet the week before. I think we put in our guidance to them, it would meet a week before, 2 weeks before.
Something like that.
It's scheduled to have a regular meeting date.
Okay.
That's before this meeting, because they'll make recommendations, and then this meeting will be where those ultimately get approved.
Get approved, okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
I think, as I said earlier, we don't have any property applications. We had some interest, but we haven't settled on anything at this point. Nobody's actually made us any offers on anything at this point, so we don't have any of that today.
What's the status on Ready 2?
That's a good question. I don't know. We're getting some strong indications about, and of course the project across the street is Ready 2, and so we're getting some strong indications that we should get it, but the guy with the biggest pen hasn't signed anything yet, so we're waiting to find out. And then we have been, the mayor has been talking about, we've been talking about Senate Bill 1 and how that's going to affect the city.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that as I've looked at that, and I don't have a lot of knowledge about Senate Bill 1, what I do know is the impact. And my quick assessment is that as it relates to us, we need to generate bigger population. And to the extent that we can do it more densely without having to build a lot of infrastructure, efficient growth is a way for us to, I don't want to say combat, but to compensate for what could be financial impact of that. So that doesn't really deviate much from what our thought process has been anyway, but we will be looking at probably, projects that will help grow the population. And one of the projects we've been talking about is really, the expectation is it's new people. And then trying to do it again on infrastructure already exists, so it's efficient. So,
Thank you.
All right, that's all I have.
We also normally get an annual report from Downtown Development.
uh-huh.
Would you mind checking in with them about that?
I think they're coming next month.
Okay.
I talked to her yesterday or the day before, and I think, and because I thought she was coming, and I wanted to confirm. I think I misunderstood. I think she's planning on coming in May as
Okay.
well. So, so I think probably that'd be the time. But I will mention to her that that would be kind of what you might expect.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Be part of her discussion.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Let's move forward to the Muncie Land Bank update. Mr. Howard.
Good morning, Nate Howard, Muncie Land Bank. I'm going to try to be quick today. We have, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've shut down our vacant lot auction, and the way we sell properties with structure on our website's been shut down for about 2 months, as we've been kind of reevaluating that process and evaluating the impacts. And so we've kind of come up with a new policy, tweaked some things, trying to give people more incentive to follow through on the things that they propose to us, and us to have more recourse to put pressure on them. And so anyways, we're going to bring that up at the board tomorrow, hopefully approve that, and then we'll fire up the vacant lot auction, and then the properties with structures, and that corresponds with the swath of properties that are coming in now from the county. And we're starting our onboarding process where we get them insured, mowed, ones that need to be boarded up. And then we do our assessment of structures. We call it a level 1 assessment, and figure out if it's strategic, if it's not. But anyways, that's going to be fired up here real soon. With regards to the option that we talked about last month, that was approved by our board. We had to tweak it a little bit, but that's been approved. And the process and the timeline for that is we have our acquisition and disposition committee that meets every first Monday of the month. And so Intend, and then the co-developers, in this case, Pathstone Corporation, Eco Rehab, they're working together to present some proposals that we'll look at on May 7th. And then if those are approved, then we'll make that transfer. And we've checked it out with Intend. We've had some conversation as a board. It shouldn't affect anything with Ready. That's really a deal between the Land Bank and Intend. And that helps us kind of breach where we are financially, kind of waiting on Ready. So we're, and as I've mentioned, Intend, one of their big motivations, in addition to supporting Muncie and affordable housing development, is to build up land bank capacity. And so that's in part why we're doing this. I went to the county commissioners meeting last Monday, presented, we had submitted a proposal, and it went well. There were some good questions, but the resolution or whatever action the county might take was tabled. I'll be reaching out to them again, hopefully, to initiate some conversation if I don't hear from them soon. That's an important piece, and you all are certainly involved in that. We had our first Friday meeting with a couple, what they're called neighborhood planners from Fort Wayne. Great meeting. Talked about their role being a liaison with the city and the neighborhood, and highlighted all the work that they've done there. This upcoming First Friday, May 2nd, we're inviting Dr. Nate Snow, who's an economics professor from Ball State. He's going to come in and talk about SB1. He's going to talk about the negative and positive effects, how the city, the county, and local residents might feel that. So please come out if you have the time. That's 12:30 to 2 p.m., May 2nd. We put in an LOI with community impact grant from Indiana Health, IU Health. we're still waiting on ready. We got a little bit of an update from Jeff. I participated in a community connections panel for Centerpoint Scholars this past weekend with the mayor, and we're hopefully headed to the Prosperity Indiana Summit May 8th. Any questions or comments?
How many properties do you have currently coming in?
We have 29
Okay.
additional properties.
And those are all from the county?
Yes,
Okay. Is the county still the main source of new properties?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Howard. Appreciate it. Moving forward to public comment. We have a lot of 2 minutes for each speaker. If anybody's interested, go ahead.
Good morning. Carly Akery-King from Majax. So it's been a while since I've been here. I wanted to come give a quick update and end with an invitation to our building. We have continued to work on strengthening our operations and our governance. We've seen some increase in satisfaction for our tenants, both at Majax and the CoLab at the Lofts. And so that has been really important to me. We have a couple active lease negotiations going on now. And so we are moving forward to being fully leased in our built-out space in Majax. And that's very exciting for us. We have seen an increase in our design lab members and our co-lab members. And so those are the folks who are looking for kind of some working options. One of them in March was a gentleman who moved here from Maine through the Make My Move program. So we were really excited to welcome him to Majax and to have that connection to a community program. The last thing is just want to invite you to Majax tonight for Third Thursdays at Majax. So we have kicked off a strong partnership with Moth Danner and Muncie Makers Market to provide another opportunity for those small businesses and creative entrepreneurs to have a space to showcase and launch their business. That will be at Majax from 5 to 8. And of course, a highlight of that is that we have free parking. And so we're looking forward to welcoming more people into our building to further cultivate that creative and entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Seeing no other public comments, we'll move on to commissioner comments. 2 things for me. I've been invited to sit on a couple committees on behalf of the MRC. One is the 812 Housing Advocacy Group. I believe their goal is to meet quarterly. I think they meet this afternoon or this morning, and I'm not able to make that one, but I'm going to go to the next one, hopefully. And then the second one, there's a MAP committee led by Dave Ring and JP Hall, I believe, that they've asked me to sit on as well. So I'll be doing that. I don't know the meeting cadence yet, but I think they're mostly just looking for information and connection to the Redevelopment Commission. So happy to provide that to them.
Isaac, MAP is Muncie Action
Plan.
Plan.
Yes. Sorry, I should have clarified that. So if I have anything to update you on, I will certainly do that. That's all I've got.
You got anything?
Anything?
Nobody else? I do.
Go
I
ahead,
just want to
please.
make sure.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah, especially in light of SB 1, I want to go on record with stating something. And I believe that if and when a government seeks to purchase or participate in the development of property, it's incumbent upon the government to do its level best to speak with one voice from its stakeholders, the taxpayer and the citizen. The only way to ethically and meaningfully act on behalf of its stakeholders is to have first gained the support from the majority of its stakeholders. This is not done through an election, for an election doesn't speak to specific development or a purchase of a real estate or the attainment of specific outcomes on behalf of its stakeholders relative to a development, but rather through planning and community, through the clarifying and powerful and demonstrable catalyst known as the strategic plan. Small businesses and large corporations strategically plan. Small nonprofits and larger nonprofits strategically plan. Ball State does it. IU Health does it. Girl Scouts do it consistently when approaching their annual sales of cookies, as well as any successful venture that one might summon to mind. If government monies are limited, and we well know that they are presently, and they're only going to become more constrictive, contrary to how this body and our mayor spends money, then we must take the time to effectively plan for the most favorable results with our state, which our stakeholders deserve.
Mr.
For the
Dale,
best
Mr.
possible results.
Mr.
I'm
Dale,
just about done.
I'm calling.
I'm
point
done
of-
in 1 minute.
I'm calling
done.
point of order.
Please?
Do your comments have anything to do with our business today?
Yeah, they do. It has everything to do with our business today. So I'm
Okay.
just going to
Well,
finish with
the
this I'm going to
criticism-
finish with this.
criticism
The
of-
bottom line
I've
is
called
that we
point of
can't
order
do
again.
things
Mr.
for our
Dale, I have
stakeholders
called
of the
point of
absence
order.
of engagement. Rather,
Okay,
we
this
should do
meeting is
things which
adjourned.
our stakeholders deem
This meeting is
appropriate
adjourned.
and
Thank you.
worthwhile and beneficial to our community.
We're
You've got a
done.
problem, dude.
I don't have a
You've got a problem. You do not
Stick to the
allow fair
decorum of the
governance to
meeting.
happen. You're a
I do. I'm
constrictive,
very fair.
you're very constrictive.
I've let you make comments all the time. If you